Hey! Just wanted to quickly say there's a spoiler alert here. You've been warned. Anyway, here we go. So many fans were disappointed about Callum and Rayla's relationship in the 4th season of The Dragon Prince, and to be honest, I don't blame those who feel that way. I understand people watch shows differently than others. Some just care for the main story, others care for just the characters, and some care for every minute detail. I'm a part of the minute detail group. Whenever I watch a series, I don't just watch it for entertainment. I try to analyze absolutely everything, to try to make predictions, to understand the mindset of the writers. And this season gave me a lot of room to work with in that regard, mostly with how they handled Rayllum. If you don't know, and don't care about spoilers, now's your time to leave if you do care. Rayllum took a very different approach this season, especially compared to Season 3. There was a lot less of it, to put it simply. I think the first thing I should mention before I get going is why. Why wasn't there more Rayllum? I'll explain that here and now because it isn't common knowledge. The events that caused the lack of Rayllum stem from the graphic novel titled Through the Moon. In it, we find out that after the Battle of the Stormspire, there came a time where the original gang traveled to the Moon Nexus. While there, Rayla attempted to use it to find her parents, but instead, she discovers that Viren might still be alive. This causes her to want to go after him, but Callum naturally doesn't want her to, not believing Viren could possibly be alive. Callum doesn't want to lose Rayla. It's dangerous. Unfortunately, despite his protests, Rayla leaves anyway, and the last scene we see in the graphic novel is Rayla running off with Callum quietly begging her not to go. This is the reason for her not being present in episode 1 of season 4, and it's the reason that Callum doesn't want to speak with her when she does return. The major issue created here is trust. Trust is one of the most important parts of a long-lasting relationship, and it's this trust that causes the rift in season 4. Rayla broke that trust. Callum even admits this in episode 6 while talking to his little brother.
She's been trying hard to get things back like they were.
But things aren't like they were. She messed them up.
On top of breaking the trust, her leaving also broke Callum's heart. So much so that even Soren, who is normally blissfully ignorant, notices it and attempts to bring it up with Rayla in the exact same episode.
When you left, it hurt him bad. Real bad. He was miserable. And now, you're back. That's kinda good. And it's kinda bad. But it's mostly just weird.
So in the 2 years between seasons, Rayla has broken Callum's trust and his heart. I'm devastated that this happened between them, and I will not try to justify the writer's decision to do this to them. Instead, I will try to defend the choice made to keep Callum and Rayla separate through season 4, and why it's a good thing that they did this. The reason why Rayllum is perfect in this season is very complex, but I think I can break it down into 3 major points. The first point being maturity. This is a kids show, but it's very different from any other kids show I've ever seen because the themes are ridiculously complex, and Rayllum is no exception. But first, let's look back at season 3 when Rayllum first started. When the two of them got together, it was because they were young, attracted to each other, and they shared a common goal, getting Zim to Zadia. Once that common goal is gone though, the graphic novel Through the Moon tests their spontaneous relationship, for lack of a better word, in a very important way. They have opposing views now, Rayla feeling that it is her duty to go after Viren, and Callum felt she was being foolish, which of course leads to the events of that graphic novel. Coming back to season 4 with all this history between them, do you truly think they should have continued as if nothing had happened? No, they shouldn't. It would have felt very forced and incredibly immature, almost childish even, as if the writers are just giving the fandom whatever they want with no questions asked. Callum has been damaged emotionally by Rayla. He feels betrayed and broken. So when she finally returns, Callum is naturally very conflicted. And I can't go on without giving credit to Jack DeSena, the voice actor of Callum. The way he conveys emotion is absolutely incredible, and he should be recognized more for it. You can hear the pain, sadness, happiness, and confusion all in one word.
I know my leaving hurt you.
Maybe.
Callum's feelings are very real. He's not some two-dimensional main protagonist. Rayla left Callum with an emotional wound, so to speak, and although wounds may heal over time, 2 years was not long enough. This is a very mature theme and a very important message, the message of having trust in a relationship, and showing that relationships don't last long without it. The second point is the writing. People like myself who analyze stories can tell when writing is good or not. In this case, I think it is absolutely masterful. Rayllum was written by someone who understands both of their characters incredibly well, and I can only imagine what said writer has gone through personally in order to convey the message of broken trust so brilliantly. Let's talk about what makes Rayllum's writing so perfect. To do this, we should attempt to emphasize with Callum. Put yourself in his stinky shoes. Rayla betrayed his trust and broke his heart, and when she returns, she does make an attempt at trying to make him speak to her, to act as if nothing happened. But as said before, she wounded him.
She messed them up.
How would you feel if someone you cared about did this and suddenly returned, expecting you to just get over it? Using the wound metaphor again, wounds do heal slowly over time. Well, certain ones. But wounds may heal faster if given the proper treatment. This treatment comes in the form of the two of them working together again, under a common goal, defeating Erebos. I'll touch more upon this in the third point. There's a rule when writing a film or TV series known as show, not tell. Pieces of work with poor writers struggle with showing things, relying more on expositional dumps. A perfect example being M. Night Shyamalan's The Last Airbender. This show's writing is the complete opposite, although we do eventually get told exactly what Callum was thinking in episode 6.
And when she came back, I was so happy, but so mad at the same time. I wish I could just forgive her, but it's so hard.
It feels less like we're being told, but more like a confirmation of our own suspicions. Season 4 was written in a way that we already knew Callum's thoughts. It was shown in facial expressions, body language, and of course the way he spoke. Going back to the wound healing, this is also shown to us rather than being told. Small gestures, like a comforting hand on the shoulder, or even more so when Callum begins to confide in her again.
I need you to kill me.
What?
Asking her to take his life should Erebos possess him again. The writing was absolutely perfect at showing us their relationship healing, rather than telling us. The characters in the show feel like real people with complex emotions, goals, fears, and traditions, and Rayllum is no exception. And the final point is, I think we can expect them to get back together very soon. Many people were disappointed to not see a Rayllum kiss or something like that. But in the final episode, we see something much deeper. Callum saw that Rayla's instincts that Viren was alive were actually correct.
Viren is alive!
One of the causes of their initial disagreement in Through the Moon was that Callum didn't believe Viren was actually alive, which is why he said this in episode 1.
I guess you must have found Viren, huh? Was he dead after all?
I didn't find him.
Oh, so you disappeared for 2 years for no reason at all.
But once Callum saw it for himself that she was actually right, when confronted with Rayla saying she needs to go after him again, Callum finally accepts that she actually did have a reason after all.
I have to go after him.
I know.
All of this leads up to the final few minutes of Season 4 outside Umber Tor. Callum finds one of Rayla's butterfly blades and holds it close, beginning to cry. At first, one may think that this is Callum potentially mourning for Rayla. If her weapon is here, surely she's dead, right? But knowing Callum's character, he would have been way more emotional if that's what he thought had happened. Instead, he is crying about the fact that Rayla has left him again. He allowed her to do it, but it still hurts him. But the next thing he knows, he's hearing her voice calling out for help. We can see the disbelief in his eyes as he hears her voice, and the look on his face when they pull her out of the rock says it all. Infinite gratitude.
I'm so glad you came back.
In this scene, I don't think he's talking about her coming back after 2 years. I think he's talking about her coming back right now, in this moment. She made the choice to come back after leaving him again, and I think it's safe to say that this act may have healed the broken trust between them. I guess we'll find out for sure in Season 5. So there you have it. Why I think Rayllum is actually perfect in Season 4. What do you guys think about all of this? Please leave your thoughts down below. I'd love to hear your opinions and theories. If I missed anything, let me know as well, and if you're new, please subscribe. Maybe we could hit 300,000 at some point. That would be absolutely crazy. Goodbye.